Hi, guys. Welcome to Teachers Off Duty podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about physical education and wellness. Guys, thanks for joining us today. We are super excited because we are going to talk about something we haven't really even discussed yet on the show, and that is our journey and all of our stories about physical education.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And today we actually have the perfect guest for this because we are joined by Megan Metelevich.
You're close.
Metelevich. One of these days, I'm going to say it right.
Yeah,
I know.
you'll be fine.
I know your name. I just can't say it.
Yeah, most of the students call me Miss Matt, or Miss M. So
you could have said that from
You're
the
making
start.
progress. Miss Metelevich. I'm Megan. I'm super happy to be here. I've been a health and PE teacher for 5 years now, which is crazy to think about.
That's awesome.
All middle school, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, and I love it. Surprisingly.
It sounds like such a fun job.
Yeah.
It is. No day is the same.
Yeah.
All days are different. It's not your typical routine every day. You just never know.
Teaching health to middle school has to be a pretty wild experience.
It is. It is, especially when we get into the family life.
Yeah.
Sex ed.
Oh, so they rebranded
Aspect
it.
of it. Yes, rebranded it. So family life.
I like that
definitely
better.
Makes for some interesting stories. For
Little
sure.
less intimidating.
It makes it less awkward to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like what class you
I
headed
agree.
to? Family life.
I think
Family life.
I feel.
Yeah.
I think eventually we maybe it's like individual health or something like that. Because what if you're not gonna have a family?
That's right.
Right. Well, you were talking about this because this was not my experience when I was in middle school. You guys separate kids.
We do.
So is it less confrontational and awkward for the kiddos?
I think so. I love teaching all the girls.
Okay.
It's more comfortable for everyone in the room. The boys can make jokes typically, they just go to a different classroom.
Wait, middle school boys joke about the sex ed unit?
Right, shocking.
Who would have thought?
Shocking.
Crazy.
So, and I think the girls feel more safe having another female teacher
100%.
to be able to ask questions and just have conversations versus if the boys were in there.
Yeah.
Okay, at my school, they don't take like any kind of sex ed until 7th grade.
Yeah.
And
It's more
it's
developmentally
co-ed.
appropriate. Like
Yeah, it's co-ed, but the 5th grade girls and boys have to watch like the puberty video.
Yeah.
Yes.
So like every year I dread it at the end of the year.
Yeah.
And some way, shape, or form, I like make it so that I'm in the room with the girls.
Yeah.
And I just, I'm sorry to whoever my co-teacher is, but I'm throwing you under the bus. You sitting with the boys.
I remember in 5th grade, we did the puberty videos.
Yeah.
And my teacher, Mr. Slowy, shout out to that guy, he was a great teacher. He told all the boys, if you're going to laugh, bite your shirt. He said, go like that if you're going to laugh. And I remember watching the video and I turned around because I was sitting in the front and there was like 5 boys who had been biting their shirts so much that it was all just wet.
Oh my gosh.
Just soaking wet. I was
my
my goodness.
Well, after the period videos, and we all leave at the same time, the bell rings, kids leave, the boys refuse to make eye contact with me or any other of the girls because they are now learning at the first time that girls are having periods and what happens. They just look, they're so quiet. It's the quietest they are all year is after we do the
boys have
period
to watch
video.
it too?
Yes, the
Good.
boys watch it. They see what the girls go through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Do the
they're
girls have to watch
traumatized.
what the boys go through?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I think
Yes.
it builds like empathy, right, for the other. And
Yeah,
like maybe
no,
they'll
it
be
makes
kinder.
sense. I just remember like, okay, so when I was in school, in middle school, we didn't have any kind of like sex ed or health class until 8th grade. And in 8th grade, the health class was focused mainly around like drugs and alcohol.
It was like Dare.
Dare.
Yeah.
This is your brain. This is your brain on drugs.
And then we didn't get like the sex ed talk until like 10th grade.
Okay.
No joke.
Really?
No joke.
This episode of Teachers Off Duty podcast is brought to you by HelloFresh. So I'm being 100% honest right now. I love HelloFresh. I have been using HelloFresh for Jordan and I for about a year now, and it has totally changed my grocery shopping game. I hate having to select different recipes every single night and worrying about what it is that we're going to eat for dinner. We have been so bad about getting takeout, and this helps us to stay at home, not waste money on restaurant food, And we have a recipe that's ready to go in like 35 minutes or less. It's so simple to just pull out one of the pre-proportioned bags of ingredients, follow the recipe card, and have a dinner ready on the table in 30 minutes. Some of my recipes that I'm getting this week, I'm actually really excited for. So I'm getting the creamy shrimp and bacon spaghetti. We love the different spaghetti meals that they have, like obsessed. I'm not even kidding you. So if you think that HelloFresh would help to like make your life easier and help you to get out of your recipe rut, make sure you go to hellofresh.com/TOD60 and use code TOD60 to get 65% off plus free shipping. Who doesn't love free shipping? Once again, that's hellofresh.com/TOD60. And you're going to use code TOD60 to get 65% off and free shipping.
Do you guys remember like watching the Miracle of Life video?
Yes.
Yeah.
To have it? Okay, this might be a really strange question. Has it been updated?
No, I gotta
So
get
we
Because
don't
that was
have
from
no.
the 80s.
Right.
Yeah.
We do not.
Like-
If you go into some file cabinets, it's somewhere back there, but we do not show
Oh, you
that.
don't show
we
it?
do
Thank
not
God.
show that.
3 years ago
It
when
is
I was
not
when I
part-
was student teaching high school health, I showed it. That was all right, so
How did that go for you?
did not go well. So here's how that story goes. So this was when I was doing high school health, and at the time I was a student teacher, and I knew that I don't do well with blood. And I just, like, I pass out. Growing up, I thought I was going to be a doctor. Nope, can't do it. So next best
Dr.
thing.
Gabe, report to the emergency
Yeah,
room.
he's on the floor, just completely passed out.
So I remember being told when I was in college, hey, always preview the videos that you're going to watch. And usually I did. But the Miracle of Life video, I did not preview it because I was like, oh, I get it. It's the pregnancy video. They're going to show the birth. It can't be that graphic. There's no way we're going to show this to kids.
Oh, well.
I was wrong.
Yes,
So
you were very wrong.
I remember sitting down at my desk and I turned on the video and told the kids, okay, just take it seriously. Yeah, it's going to be a little gross, whatever. And at first, I remember thinking, oh, this is bizarre that these people want to actually be recorded doing this. Whatever, to each their own. And then they got ready to like show the birth. And I was watching it and I could just start feeling my face get really hot. And I just felt like I was going to start fainting. And the baby starts sliding out. I'm like, oh my goodness. And then there's a part at the very end where it makes the grossest noise on the planet. And like all of the fluids, like they go like out.
Well,
and
Wouldn't know how many fluids come out.
The
I know.
the ASMR that's happening right now, like, I guess miracles can be disgusting because like the way you're like,
I'm
the
dying.
miracle of life, it's the horror.
the horror of life. So all I remember was hearing, and then the next thing I know, there's a kid standing over me, poking me, saying, "Mr. Danvering, you all right? You all right?" And I legit passed out.
Oh my
like,
God.
my head
Oh my
just straight up
gosh.
went boom down, and I passed out. And that day, it was like 4 or 5 kids that passed out during the video. And
It's a
there was
lot.
there was one time, yeah. So like during the day, I was like, I can't watch this. And I remember one boy came up to my desk and he tells me, he goes, I don't feel good. Can I go to the nurse?
Yeah.
And he's white as a ghost. And I said, yeah, go ahead. He takes about 3 steps.
I was gonna
and then
say.
just starts
Goes
going
out.
down. And I caught him. And there were just bodies getting put into the
Oh my
nurse's room that day.
What grade? It's high school. Like, I mean,
No,
I don't know.
remember. I was traumatized by that video.
When did you watch it?
10th grade.
10th grade?
I was 15. I remember watching that, and we were in health class, and we had to have a parent sign a waiver
Yep.
to let us watch it.
We did it in North Dakota.
Yeah, no,
No,
we
we had
did.
to have a parent sign us off, and then like as we're watching it, I just distinctly remember like continually like just.
Yeah.
Casually looking away for the majority of the
Yeah.
video. I'm like, I just don't want to see it. But I do remember it. It was not a pretty sight. I'm like,
I don't
Did you-
one
did
thing.
you
I'm
guys
glad
get to
I'm
watch
never
it?
getting pregnant.
So I
you know
watched
what?
it- I watched it when I was in middle school, and it must have been in the old curriculum that the video is at our school, but it's
Yeah.
not something that we
Yeah.
show. But we talked before where in every class, a lot of kids know a lot more than others.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you never know what kids know.
Yeah.
So
how do you gauge that? How do you know what they know, what they don't know?
by looking at them.
Yeah.
By looking at them,
When
when
you're
you
talking.
discuss a topic, you can just tell by their facial expressions, or if they're squirming in their seat, or they're like sitting more comfortable, that you know, okay, they're gonna know what I'm talking about, or this is the first time that they're watching this, or being told about it, that
That has
and
to be
it's
so
it
wild.
can be tough for people. And we do give out permission slips. So
Yeah.
I don't know if I signed one when I was in middle school or had my parents sign one.
Right.
But we're very strict on what we can and can't talk about. So we can't go outside what our curriculum says, because if a parent didn't sign off on this topic and then I bring it up and the kid goes home, oh, Miss Matt talked about XYZ. Oh, I didn't sign that. That's where I need to be very careful.
Yeah.
Where I grew up, we had a lot of like Amish folk that came into like 8th grade or something like that. And there are things that they like religiously you couldn't learn about. And so I think that's like an interesting concept of like, at this moment, it's not, or like if there's 2 or 3 of them, it's like go to this health class and they're learning about this today, and not to avoid it, right? I don't think people should avoid it, but I also think like there's some conversations with the parents. I teach preschool. I'm so glad I never have to have these conversations with kids, because it is. I don't think that I feel like I'd be passing out too.
It was like when I did high school health, it was challenging at times because my school, we were an abstinence plus school. So they talked about like when it came to contraception, we pushed abstinence, but there was also abstinence plus, which means, okay, if you're not going to abstain, here are the other things that go with it. And you get in those situations when you start having, pretty intense conversations, and you have to know as a professional, where do you draw that line? And that was always a challenge. And then I always erred on the side of extreme caution because I wasn't willing to lose my job over that.
Typically at the start of when we are in our family life unit, at the start of every class, each student will get a sticky note or a piece of paper where if questions come up that they want to write down, they'll turn it into me at the end and I'll go through them, because like you just said, it can, you can approach some uncomfortable topics. So then I'll either talk to the student one-on-one if I don't want to say it to the whole entire class, and I'll just say, okay, this is an appropriate question or it's not.
I was just going to say so when we do the puberty video, like sometimes the girls take it very seriously.
Yeah.
And they will sit there and like they have to watch like the video and stuff, and like the nurse is in there and she talks to them about stuff.
Oh, I love that there's like a medical person
Yeah,
there.
it's
I like
not
that
just
too.
me. Yeah, I'm not in charge of it, but I'm in there with them.
Yeah, I mean, you're a person of comfort for them. Yeah.
Right. So then they like at the end, the nurse is like, "Do you have any questions?" And like last year, our group was really good. They had there were like 10 girls at least that had really good questions, and they were just like taking it very maturely. And I think sometimes kids just want to know like about themselves.
Yeah, and I think sometimes it's awkward for the parent to have that conversation, or you don't know how parent life is. Maybe only dad's in the picture or only mom's in the picture, and like maybe they weren't talked about, and maybe the parents are like, "Hey, can you please help with this?"
Yeah.
I think it's an interesting thing and I like that the kids can ask questions. I like that you do the sticky notes in case like the kid doesn't want to ask it out loud. I remember you get to talk in 5th grade. And we had, it was just a piece of paper. And then I remember very distinctly, it was like a white, like a lunchbox bag thingy, like the brown ones, but not. I don't know why the color of this is very important to me, but it was cool. And we could put it in the bag, and then the teacher would read it, and it's like, that's not, I think you're making a joke or what have you, and then go from there. And it was anonymous too, which was nice. So you have health, and then you have physical education, and you do the same. So like, what was your health teacher the physical education teacher as well?
No, actually not.
Okay.
So and that's a rarity. I didn't know that. And one of the things that really frustrates me in education is why there's like the assumption that health and PE are like the same. Does that make sense? Where there's such different classes. You know what I mean?
How does that work when you're going to school? That's a lot to cover.
School, as in college?
Yeah.
Health was not covered when
Are
when
you serious?
Yes. So in college, once you got into upper division, so my junior and senior year, I had I had a class specifically for like net-based sports. So we did a class that was just badminton, volleyball, and then we had classes, we went to a golf course. So we had classes that were learning every sport and the rules of it, but we never had
Oh my
health.
gosh.
But
Because
that's
were you
also,
what was your major? Your major was physical education.
yes,
Yeah.
physical education, but we were under Human and Health Performance. We were the College of Human Health Performance. So I graduated with a ton of people. It was totally outside the education field.
Yeah.
Because like even in elementary ed, like when I was going to college, I had to take a like childhood health, like a nursing class.
Yeah.
I had to take a nursing class, and I had to take a physical education class, which I understand, but also don't, because like, when am I teaching phys ed?
And the assumption is like that you do both.
Right. But I think for me, because my internship was elementary, that it wasn't talked about.
Right.
So you don't do health in
You'll jump rope for
elementary.
heart or
but
something.
my other people, right? Yes, we definitely did. We definitely did. But in my cohort, who were in middle school and high school, they definitely did all the health units. So, when I was applying to jobs, middle school was not in my sight at all. So I wanted elementary, but I wanted a job. And a job was more important than, I'm not going to take a job unless it's elementary. So I went with middle school, and I just went in totally blind to everything. I mean,
isn't that wild? But that's
new.
not the only thing in education that happens with. Like, so many teachers, like in colleges around my area, will tell me like, we don't take a class on behavior management or like classroom management specifically. Yeah. But like, that's one of the core aspects of being a teacher.
Yeah, I think
and
they
it's
teach
so
you
wild
like
to me.
the basics, right?
No.
And then like, no, I'm saying not of that. I'm saying they teach you the basics of teaching. If you want to go into a math teacher or whatever, they'll teach you that. So, but I think what's going on now with the world of health, that's scary for a teacher to sit there. I'm really trying not to do anything that's offensive. Yeah. And there's a lot of pros and cons and the dichotomy of like teach or don't teach. Like that's scary for a teacher.
And thankfully, I have 6 PE teachers altogether at my school. So when I went in, I had 5 other people to ask as many questions to, and they were great. They knew I was brand new, and if I had any questions, and my co-teacher, he's great. Anything I need, any questions I have, he sets me up. But if I was going into a school where I was the only health and PE teacher, and they're like, oh yeah, teach family life, and then teach about drugs and body systems and this, I'd have been like, I taught 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade for my senior year internship. I have no idea.
I taught them how to scoot on a scooter.
Teach them how to throw. Yes, teach them how to scoot on the scooter, hula hooping, kickball. Don't throw me into a classroom. So it was a big transition year for me too. Yeah.
Today's episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. When you're at your best, you are able to accomplish absolutely incredible things. But sometimes life gets you bogged down and you may feel overwhelmed or like you're not showing up in the way that you want to. So working with a therapist from BetterHelp can get you closer to the best version of yourself. When you feel empowered, you're more prepared to take on everything life throws at you. If you want to live a more empowered life, therapy can definitely get you there. Visit BetterHelp.com/TOD today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/TOD, so you can get back to being the best version of yourself and accomplishing all of the goals and dreams that you want to accomplish. It's convenient, flexible, affordable, and entirely online. All you have to do is fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists at any time if you want to at no additional charge. So once again, make sure you check out BetterHelp.com/TOD to get 10% off your first month.
My first day ever as a sub in college, it was a great first day, but at the time I was extremely nervous about it. I was working in North Dakota, and it was literally first time ever subbing. And I go to Fargo Davies High School, which is a school I ended up student teaching at, ended up working there, loved that high school. And I was teaching a health class, and I didn't know what I was going to teach that day. And I get in, I open up the sub notes, and it was the first intro lesson to sex ed.
Oh my gosh.
And that was my first day subbing.
Absolutely not.
And I read the sub plans, and I remember thinking, oh my gosh, I'm the one who's now given the intro to sex ed. This is crazy. And the first class period went really well because I majored in health education. Yeah. And I knew a lot of the tips and tricks and whatnot. So all the jokes that I made first period, they all hit. I mean, they were just killing it. And then the second period class was for EL learners.
And they did not get it.
They did not get it. Every joke just bombed. I felt like a comedian just getting roasted on the stage. And after about 2.5 minutes, I remember thinking, I got to rebrand this. This is not working. So I just stuck to the book because they were not getting the jokes.
To be a fly on the wall in that classroom when Gabe was teaching.
Oh my gosh.
It's also like incredibly irresponsible of that teacher.
I was going to say, not cool.
I don't know who's going to, not cool for the sub, but you don't know what sub's coming in, and you're going to trust your children to, like, thank God you have a health background, right? But what if someone were to come in who has no idea what they're doing? Like, you know what? We're going to not go by the book. Everyone's a robot. You know what I mean? Like, but But you don't. So like, why would you like?
For me, not even that, but like a comfort standpoint.
Oh yeah, for the kids too.
Right. If you're their teacher, they at least feel a little bit comfortable with you talking about it. But like a complete stranger,
that's not
just
fair to the
walking up
stranger.
and being like, "Hey guys, this is how it works." Like,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm thinking about like the maybe the teacher too that like definitely doesn't want to do that, or maybe it goes against something of and they're like walking in like I would never have signed up to do this class. I'm gonna call Fargo. I'm gonna say, baby, I love your work, love the movie, love the TV show, but
I enjoyed teaching health. I genuinely really did.
and we talked about this yesterday. I said, well, what do you like more, health or PE?
PE, 100%.
I love that.
All day. I mean, I want to be a PE teacher. I want to be moving around. I want to be with the kids. I don't want to be stuck in the classroom. You know, I like it because I am passionate about a lot. I mean, with physical education, you have to keep up with your health. You know, you can't just work out all day, but eat whatever you want. You know, you're just not going to be healthy in that way. So I like that I can touch all bases with them.
Good.
And show that I'm passionate about it. But I could not be in a classroom all day.
Megan,
I
one of
just
the
couldn't do
things
it.
that I was challenged with when I was teaching health was talking about diets and talking about health.
Young kids.
It was very,
Yeah.
it was a
It's tough.
tricky topic because you do need to talk about it. You do need to educate, but it's also very sensitive. So how do you go about that at the middle school level?
So we actually just did our nutrition unit.
Okay.
And, you know, the notes that we have or the curriculum that's sent to us will say, you know, based off of a 12-year-old boy, you're allowed, you know, your calorie limit or whatever is the 2,400. And then for females, I believe it's 21 or 2,200. And I just say, however, you know, if you're getting your proteins, you know, we talked about the my food plate, don't look at that because I don't want my students downloading MyFitnessPal and restricting themselves.
In middle school,
and I'll
too.
tell them,
Yeah.
you're burning calories right now by sitting here. When you stand up and you go to your classes, you're burning calories.
Yeah.
And if you're just having, you know, a bag of Takis for lunch all day long, you're not, you are way under. And they don't understand how much food they need to be having.
Right.
I think even
And the
as
right
adults,
food.
Yeah.
like we
Right.
do that. How many teachers pack like a little thing of Ritz crackers and a cheese slice for lunch?
always
you
4
know?
cups of
It's always
coffee.
the yogurt.
Right.
It's the yogurt, right? And
Yeah.
it's like the whole like of the cardigan and the eating the yogurt. it's also like we were talking about the school systems like the Title 1 and stuff like that. And a part of the health too is like it almost feels like you're shaming a child for like, well, are you eating enough fruits and vegetables? It's like, well, my parents can't afford that.
Right. And
Yeah.
I go over that and I say, look, I understand you don't have your own car, you don't have your
Yeah.
own money to
Yeah.
go
Grocery shop
get
for
your
yourself.
groceries.
Yeah.
But try to, you know, be mindful. You know, try to
Yeah.
educate your parents as well. Like, hey, we got food to go yesterday.
Yeah.
Let's try something different.
Yeah.
Or for a warm up, they might create what their lunch is or what their dinner
Yeah.
is, and like maybe turn it into a family thing where
Yeah,
you can
yeah.
take that home and try to work. But it is a very sensitive topic
is.
because the last thing I want is my 12, 13, and 14-year-olds to start thinking about or obsessing what they're eating
We
and
can't
what they're
eat this, we
taking
can't do
in.
that.
You
You know what's
know?
wild? Remember when we were in school and you had the food pyramid?
42326 gives me just the right mix.
What?
42326 gives me just the right mix.
What is
Wait,
that?
yeah, I need more
Four-
details.
4 is milk.
Okay.
No, what was it? 2 was me. 3 was, I remember 6 was grain.
6 was grains. Yeah.
4, 2, 3, 2,
Like
6.
ounces or serving
no,
size?
servings.
Servings.
So 4
okay.
servings, 2 servings, 3, 2, 6.
Okay.
I think it's wild that we spent years learning about the food pyramid, and then the FDA did more research about it, and they decided, oh, this is an extremely not good diet. And all the stuff that we got taught, they never came out and said, hey, that, like, we got to relearn some of this. So we had so many kids that got taught improper diets, not necessarily improper diets, but unhealthy diets.
Me, I am kids.
I was like, my world is crashing on live podcast television.
And that's why now the food pyramid is essentially gone. It's the My Plate.
My food plate.
Yeah, it's My Food Plate.
So
you
we
don't
have
teach
the My
the
Food
food
Plate.
pyramid.
I
No.
remember
The
doing
pyramid.
the hanger project.
Yes.
What is going
Yes.
on?
We
Oh,
made
you
like
do
a
it at
clothes
least?
hanger.
No, I did it in middle school. I did not teach
You don't teach it now.
No, it's not
like,
in the curriculum.
gonna
It's My
be
Food
sick.
Plate now.
Having your like the biggest chunk of your diet be grains is actually extremely bad for you.
So that's a lot of carbs.
It's
Yes,
not
it
good
is.
for you.
But
and that's what they pushed for years.
But it gave me permission to go to the
a
Olive
loaf of
Garden
bread.
and get unlimited pasta and breadsticks and be like, no, I'm getting the 6, guys.
6
I'm getting the
grains.
4, 2, 3, 2, 6.
Okay, so do y'all know what consists of the My Food plate?
No.
What do you
Teach
have?
me.
Well, let's do some guesses.
Okay, I like this.
What
Okay.
is one thing that's on My Food plate?
Protein.
Protein.
Vegetables.
Vegetables is
Fruit.
fruits.
Dessert.
Dairy.
I wish.
Candy.
Dairy. So we
There's
have
more?
proteins, fruits, vegetables, dairy,
Carbs.
Grain.
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 You're grain. Right. So there you go.
How do they divide it now?
Yeah,
'Cause
but
I
it's
haven't looked at the
different
plate in a while.
sizes.
Different
Yeah.
So
sizes.
it doesn't have like you were just using the numbers.
Yeah.
Shows
People
no
use,
numbers.
like,
It
the-
shows that it's a color coordinated
Okay.
plate, and your vegetables is the largest.
Oh.
Then it's fruits, protein, grain.
Yeah, it's
I'm-
they flipped it
and-
upside down. Essentially, the
Basically,
pyramid.
basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they flipped it upside down, that means candy.
Yay!
Sugar was number 1.
Oh.
And now if you flip it down, sugar's the best for you if you think about it.
So really, I've been doing it right this whole time.
I actually am very forward thinking when you think about health.
You're so progressive.
I was the first person to think about putting sugar as the most.
So it with
The original Willy Wonka. Don't make it weird. Don't be jealous.
The original Willy
The
Wonka.
original Willy Wonka.
when you're doing middle school health, do you spend much time talking about mental health and wellness with them?
We do.
Oh,
That
nice. What's that?
is-
What does that look like?
That was our first. I believe that was our first unit of the school year.
Oh,
my
cool.
gosh, we
And-
never did this.
Cool.
Love it. I'm so glad that we do go over it. Our counselors in the past have come in and taken one day and have spoke
Okay.
with them about it. And the words anxiety, they're thrown out a
Yeah,
lot now.
yeah.
Depression's thrown out a lot now. So a lot of things that we like to do along with the counselors is tell the students, if you have a bad day, that you're not depressed. We all have bad days. What you need to start looking at is if you're having bad days for 2 weeks, for 3 weeks, then
Then more bad than good days.
right. Then
Yeah.
we need to get you some
chat.
help and
Yeah.
have a chat more.
Yeah.
Or you have a big exam. Oh, I'm having an anxiety attack. Well, you're nervous. Let's
Yeah.
try to use
Yeah.
the word you're nervous.
Right. Yeah.
Versus, I've had students that I know for sure suffer with anxiety.
Yeah.
And everyone you look at it differently.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
used so freely. So that's another thing that we talk about. Or if you're having all these bad days for 3 weeks in a row and you have a great day, don't forget about all the bad days
Correct.
that you had, because yes, you had a great day, but if you're struggling that often throughout
Yeah.
the month or the weeks, then we do need to take a look at that. But there's so many factors that affect it. So then with our mental well-being, we ask about social media. Well, do you
I was
think
gonna
social
say-
media has an
Well,
effect on that? And they all raise their hands. They say yes.
And they can scroll through. As a therapist, when I have clients come in like, I'm bipolar. I'm like, what? And that's why I was looking at a TikTok
Right.
and I'm bipolar. So
Yeah.
it's
TikTok
like,
told me,
it's
so
the self
it's true.
It's the self-diagnosis. And I love that you said you can have a day of depression. That doesn't mean you're depressed. You can have a day of anxiety. That is, it's like we talk like big T, little T, big trauma, little trauma.
Mm-hmm.
It's not saying you're not having trauma, and it's not to say that trauma isn't horrific for you right now, but are you going to look back in a week and say, okay, snapping my finger was traumatic, but now I'm looking at it, I'm like, I'm going to be fine.
Right.
But then they're going to have depression days or depression months. And then you have to say, okay, this might be a thing. I love that you're teaching that.
Right. And
Yeah.
we talk a lot about, or I like to, the health triangle. So we have our social, emotional, and then physical.
Physical.
Okay,
Oh,
so we
okay.
have your
Okay.
social,
Yeah.
your physical, and your emotional.
Yeah.
And we say how it's you have to have a perfect triangle. You
Yeah.
want to try. If I'm giving too much to social, then my physical and
Yep.
emotional is
Yep.
going to suffer. If I'm giving too much to my physical, then my social and emotional is
Yeah.
going to suffer. So it's okay, how do we make this equal to where we're having, good days all the time? I can't give my whole life into work because
Right.
then something's going to cave. And I tell them it's okay to go home from school. And if you had a drained day where you were just over the top stimulated, do something for yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Get your pyramid back to where it should be.
The equilibrium.
Right.
Your equilibrium.
Right. And,
Yeah.
if you're not sleeping at night, then your social is going to be affected the next morning.
Yeah.
And I think that really helps them see and understand.
Yeah.
I really
Oh my
wish.
gosh.
I really
Where
wish
was
this
it?
would have been a thing when I was in school.
Yeah.
We
No,
laugh
you're right.
and it's funny, but
You're right.
but in all reality, the only memories
an
I have
adult?
of health class are learning about drugs and alcohol,
It was.
and learning about sex, and that was
That's
it.
it.
We didn't talk about mental health. We didn't
No.
talk about in gym physical education. We did things so that we were in shape, but like really there were no like
Right.
life lessons that were like,
None.
okay, this is how you set yourself up for success for the rest of your life.
Right.
It's just,
And I
it's
think
just
that's when
teaching
we
you
went
about
to school
one thing.
and where we went to school. Like
Yeah.
Gordon and I grew up in India, she grew up in Ohio, and we talked so many times about how, and we're close to the same age. I'm a
Yeah.
little older, but
Yeah.
a lot of our schooling was the same. It would never have been thought about ever to talk about these things. If you took, we called it family services, and that was when I learned when you do you do like infant learning, and then the next semester is child, and then it's adult, and it wasn't until that I learned about mental health. It was never and that was like
See,
senior
I didn't
year.
even learn about that because I took that
Yeah.
elective. It was like family life science or something.
Yeah.
And I took it as an elective my senior year because I knew I was going into teaching
Yeah.
at that point. Literally, no joke, we did the robot baby thing.
Yep.
We
Do you
had
have to wear
learn
the belly
about.
thingy?
No, I did not have to
Okay.
do that.
Did you have
We-
to wear a belly
Yeah.
thing?
I
Yeah.
want to picture
Oh,
that.
yes, I know. I need to see that.
We had to do the robot baby. We had to like learn about the development like
Yeah.
within pregnancy, and then we also had to do like budgeting. Like I think
Oh,
it
we
was like
didn't do-
no, but it was like a scare tactic. I feel like
Oh, for sure.
Like they were like, okay, you're gonna budget for how much your nursery is gonna cost you,
Yeah.
and then it was like, all right, you gotta get this. Like they had all these things on
Yeah.
your list, and it ended up being like $40,000, and I was like, oh my god, kids are so expensive.
Right. I can't go into teaching.
No. But like that's all we did. It wasn't like okay, this is postpartum depression
Oh my
or
gosh,
like
right,
this
yeah.
no. So even now like and I know this really doesn't have a ton to do with like, middle schoolers and their health class, but so many women on TikTok that I've seen now like being open about like miscarriages and being open about their like postpartum depression and things like that. We never learned about
Any
any
of
of
that.
that ever. Ever.
And when I tell people I'm a middle school health and PE teacher, normally they're like, "Oh, good luck," or
Yeah.
like, couldn't
I think I've said
be
that
couldn't
to you. I
be
was
me.
like,
Yeah.
Couldn't be me. Yeah.
Right. But I'm in the position where I feel so blessed and thankful
Yeah.
that I was in their shoes not that long ago. I still remember what it felt like
Yeah.
to feel what they're feeling. So it's so easy to relate back to myself. I grew
What
up
you wish you had.
Right. Like
Yeah.
I wish I had. Not that I struggled with the mental health,
Right.
but I see it going like with my friends, and I
Yeah.
know what they're going through. And if I can give any personal information, I mean, my students, they know so much about me, and not in an inappropriate way,
Right.
but just I'm going to tell them, and I
a
feel
way to
like
gain rapport.
right.
Yeah.
That's where
Right,
I
they
break
need to
that
see you as a real
level with them.
person.
Right, because
Right.
I will talk about myself and
Yeah.
situations that I've been in, and I feel I'm so thankful that I can help them through. I mean, it's a hard time. Middle school's
Yeah.
weird. It's awkward.
Going to PE, I loved PE growing up. I'm not kidding. When I said jumper
went
for
hard.
heart, it just like reminded me of Miss Longfellow teaching us about. I was loving PE. Do you think PE's once you get the health stuff not done, but PE's like the fun reward of the
For some.
School day?
For
yeah.
some.
But
yeah.
for you personally when you get to teach
Oh,
it?
yes.
Is that like your
Definitely.
fun time?
And the way that our curriculum is set up, so we do PE Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday,
Yeah.
health Thursday, and then
Okay.
back in PE on Friday. So
are they?
they're in it every week. Where when I was in middle
Okay.
school, I believe it was like 3 weeks of PE,
Yeah.
1 week of health, or maybe longer.
Okay.
But the way we have decided
sprinkled
to
in.
do it is just one day a week you have health.
Okay.
And because when you go multiple weeks without health, I just feel like you're
Yeah.
not retaining
It's
hard
that
to get back into
information.
that.
1 week even people might argue, well, you're only talking about it one time
Yeah.
a week. But then the next time you meet, you kind of do a refresher.
Yeah.
We go over it. But I always say, okay, y'all, we just got to make it through this. We're
Right.
going to talk about it, and then we're back in PE tomorrow. But I mean, yeah, I think it's a reward for me. But it's some students. Some students aren't, as active or
Right.
as athletic as others, and I understand that can be challenging. There's a lot of pressure.
I was a kid that loved PE.
Same.
One of the things
I
who would have
can't
thought?
imagine why.
One of the things that I feel bad for kids is like in this the school that I work at, when if they need special services, if they need special ed classes, if they need remedial classes, the first thing that they lose is PE, which I understand you have to pull a class. I get it.
That doesn't happen.
We did not.
Oh,
in
really?
the Midwest, that was the one you had.
It was
to
a
do.
legal obligation. You had to take a health or a physical
I
education
know
class.
people not making a joke who did not graduate
Because of PE?
PE.
Yep.
Really?
So you
My students listen to that
Yes.
because they always, when I say, hey, you gotta pass PE,
Yep.
they always say, I do not need to go
Nope.
to
Nope.
Or won't help me go to college, or I won't need it to graduate high school.
You do. I'm not going to
Say
say the
that
name.
again.
I
You can.
won't say the
Again.
name. So you could take summer PE once, and that was so much fun. So it was like summer camp. So I took that going into my freshman year, and I couldn't fit into my schedule until my senior year. And it was my second semester senior year, and I had to do it. There was another guy in my class who was also a senior.
With a bunch of freshmen.
Oh, you had a choice?
We didn't. It was not a choice.
No, but I'm saying like you had a choice of when you could take it.
That's what I had in high school.
supposed. So you were supposed to take your freshman year, but if you took summer PE, they were a little bit more relaxed. You'll finish your sophomore schedule, and so it was a very strange thing. But my schedule worked out. And I was hoping what they do now is if you're in a varsity sport, can go towards that. I don't know if I agree with that because I feel more. And I was hoping that they would pass that before I left, and they did not. So my senior year, second semester, I did it. My friend did it with me, and he didn't complete the class.
Oh no!
So I don't know what happened.
Wow.
I know that he didn't. I know I didn't see him walking on graduation when I did. But you have to.
Yeah.
You get music pulled, or you get like a foreign language pulled, but they won't pull
I went
PE.
to a really large school, and like our schedules were always jam packed. We had 7 class periods, and like.
Were you in block scheduling, or is it every day?
No,
Okay.
it was every day. And we had PE you had to take 9th and 10th grade. And then you didn't have to take it 11th or 12th grade. But I was in choir. And choir took up my one block of elective. Like I couldn't take anything else until my senior year. I was able to take some electives.
Yeah.
But there were so many requirements.
So
but
many.
One of my favorite memories from PE ever was from elementary school. And my PE teacher, no joke, his name was Mr. Jim.
Are you serious?
JYM or
Mr. Jim.
JIM?
For the job.
Oh, JIM probably. Why would I
Yeah.
assume his name?
Yeah.
I'm dumb.
It's short for Mr. Gymnasium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
No,
he's a
his-
professional.
His name was Mr. Jim, but we had this thing, and it was like everyone would lose their ever-loving minds when they knew it was this day. It was called the whittle. Have you ever heard of the whittle?
No.
Okay.
I haven't.
So the whittle was this massive piece of equipment. And it was essentially like a jungle gym, but like for gross motor skills. So like he would have the 4th graders, like he would pick a few of them to help him set up the whittle. And it literally was like an obstacle course. Like you had like a balance beam, and you had to climb up a thing, and you had a rope, like
my
a rope
gosh.
climb.
That sounds like a
Oh
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
gosh, it was so
Really?
fun. We would lose our minds.
I always lost my mind when in elementary school for the parachute.
oh,
Parachute
the
was
parachute.
awesome.
Schools love that thing. Do you
Popcorn.
still do that?
We do not have the parachute.
I'm
Not
put the
at
pop
middle
in and
school. We
don't have one,
it.
or like you don't have one because the school doesn't have one, or you don't have one because like you guys shouldn't be doing it.
Maybe both.
I'm
I mean,
sending
I would
one.
please send me one. I would be okay to do that. You know,
think it's
warm
just
up. I think
fun.
it's fun. You know, I
is
remember
a
we would
work-
all, and the balls would be on the top.
Yes, it's a
and you
workout,
couldn't-
honestly.
Yeah,
or
it's
you
like
want
rope
them
ropes.
all
It is.
off. Yeah.
It was the OG
It's
ropes.
fun.
Yeah.
It's
Was
a
the
good,
OG ropes.
You know, we're not going to do that the whole entire PE class,
No,
but I think
but-
it would be a great warm up.
Oh yeah.
We would do, so they would like, you know how you lift it up and then like everyone sits
Yes, go
under
under
it?
it.
We would sit in it, hold all the air in, and then we would have to go around and like, they would ask a quick question, like, who's your favorite superhero? And then you'd like
Yes.
go around and you had to swap sides
Yes.
with each other without letting the air out. We played all kinds of games with that parachute.
I loved in middle school and high school doing the mile because I would flex on everybody because I was a good runner.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Was like I couldn't do math at all. I was bad at math, but
You could run.
Shine in
I
PE.
could run PE. Oh, killed it.
I was
Yeah, me
very
too.
valedictorian in
100%.
PE. Yes,
I was super competitive. Super competitive. So when we were talking about doing a PE episode, I was like Presidential Fitness Challenge, which they don't call it that now.
We do not.
But I was so competitive, and we thought it would be fun to do it. We did it yesterday. Megan kicked our butts, but
Y'all
I
did great.
wanted to get the presidential so
She's
bad.
lying.
He's lying.
Your school used to send you, I don't know if every school did this, but you would get like a patch, like an actual patch, and there was a bunch of blue, a bunch of red, and then, but I always would lose on the
sit and reach.
The sit and reach.
I
'cause
always lost on
I
that.
couldn't do it. But what was mortifying is they would post your scores. Like they would post it on a bulletin board. I think they used
That was
or your stu-
before Google Classroom.
Yeah, right. And I do want to say maybe they did the student's number, like our student number instead of the name.
But still.
I was so every year, like when it was coming up, I was like training 2 weeks beforehand.
Oh, yeah, it's a big deal. And
Oh, yeah.
Gabe just said, you know, he may not have shined in math, but when
Right.
it came to PE, and there's kids like that in every
Yeah,
class that
yeah.
they're the core, they, you know, aren't the best in, but PE,
Yeah.
sign me up. They're
Oh,
all
yeah.
for it, which is why I'm bummed that we don't recognize with the presidential or the national, because I was the kid at the award ceremony wanting that PE award
Yeah.
and because I knew it wasn't going to get in math or English or
I
science.
didn't even think about that.
And you don't. You really
Yeah,
don't.
yeah.
But When
You
they
could make
come
your
to
own.
PE, yes, I
Yeah.
could. I mean, I need to.
The
Make
PE
your own.
Start.
awards. Yeah.
Right. It's just
The Miss
it
Matt
needs-
Awards.
Right. Yes. It just
There you
needs
go.
to
You
can win a
be
Maddie.
talked about.
That's perfect.
You're onto something. Let me write that down.
I don't remember doing that. Like, I remember doing the mile, but I don't remember, like, I remember doing, like, push-ups and stuff like that. I don't remember them ever calling it the presidential fitness test. I don't remember ever getting a patch. Like, but I was athletic. Like, I did all kinds of sports.
Because you were a sporty girl.
I was athletic in high school. Not now. But I don't remember the actual name or, like, the words of it.
It might have even been gone by then, because I remember, like, it was pretty controversial in the aspect of, like, I don't know what exactly it was that people didn't like. It might have been because some kids weren't good at it, or is it inclusive enough for others who can't? But I did like that, you know, someone could excel that wasn't good at something, because you can be, there's different kinds of intelligence. You could be, like, bodily intelligent and stuff like that. But, like, I think yesterday helped me also realize, I'm 31, what goes into that test? Like, there's some stuff I was like, oh, I got the push-ups. And I have a personal trainer, and I was like, oh, I got this. How much push-up? You said 20? I was, like, shaking.
Those push-ups you had us to do were tough.
Oh, and it's recorded, by the way. You can see this.
You would go down
Tempo.
and hold.
Yes, you had to do the
up.
tempo.
Down, hold, up.
Listen,
That
I
was
had
killer.
no business doing this test yesterday. I was telling them, I woke up this morning, I'm like, I hurt everywhere.
Everything hurts.
Like, I like to think, like, I'm like, okay, I'm an adult, I'm 28, but, like, I don't think I'm that out of shape, girl. I'm out of shape.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, we started running the mile. I ran like a quarter of the way and was like, I'm like, this is how I go. I'm like,
And I like that that's recorded, so other people can see that, because, like, we're fit people. And so it's also like, what is the mile time for a kiddo?
Presidential, 8 minutes and 15 seconds.
and they do they do that?
They can do that, but we do that pacer test.
That's
the
right.
amazing
Yes,
beep
yes,
test.
yes.
So we
Oh, yeah,
don't
yeah, yeah.
actually run the mile, but the aerobic fitness capacity test, or a lot of people know that recording. That's what we do. That's how we measure their aerobic capacity.
I felt fine. I felt good. I ran the mile yesterday, and I overdid. I was coughing all night.
He was.
And I was like, I'm not sick. That it's hard. I can't imagine being like a little
It hurt.
7th grader and being like, I can't do
Right.
this. I
And
need the
I'm
blue
not-
patch.
I'm not the kind of teacher where they walk in and I say, all right, y'all, it's pacer day. I like to
That's
build it
love,
up.
I
though.
have to.
You're
you know?
genuinely a good teacher.
Thank you. I
You're
try.
good at your job.
Thank you.
You deserve a raise.
Oh my God. I'm calling
Yes.
I'm calling your school right now.
Oh man.
No, what's the phone ringtone? It's a trumpet.
A trumpet.
So what we've got planned now is a little bit of a game. And one of the things that elementary teachers are great at, I'm not good at this, is the call and response with their students. So we've got our producer, Devin. He's got a piece of paper, and he's going to read off the beginning part of a call, and we have to come up with a response to that call.
Okay.
I love it.
Okay. Are there any parameters? Does it have to have alliteration, rhyming? Do you want any of that?
No, I'm just going to read these and you guys are going to be the class.
Can you do an example for me?
Yeah. So like,
So like in my class, okay, one that I do is like they just came up with this after break. They were like, "Who you gonna call? Ghostbusters!" Like
Yeah.
just to get their attention.
SpongeBob.
I don't know why I had to.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So I'll just read some of these off and you
Okay.
guys respond. So I am now the teacher.
are you gonna pick who, or do you?
Oh no, I want you all to respond like a class.
Okay. See if
Maybe
we
you'll
got-
get it wrong. Maybe
Wait,
you won't. We'll have a
We
recording
raise
of
our
it.
hands.
What if we? Oh wait, are these real ones?
These are real ones.
Oh, so we have to see if we would
we
know.
have to see if we
Okay.
know it.
Okay, guys, we can win
I
this.
mean, at far and
Okay.
this is a board teacher special. I'm not totally sure if these are real.
All right, Mr.
Disclaimer. Bada bing.
Bada boom.
Hey, see, this is going well.
I'll get there.
Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna channel my,
Is it
my
questionable?
innermost Lil John, and I'm gonna go, yeah,
Boy.
see?
Nice.
Did you guys not know that?
No.
How old are we?
It's not boy though. So
He was like, I got that
I was
right.
it's
excited
actually
for
you're
you.
supposed to say okay. You know,
No,
okay.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know about that one.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Eyes on
Pick up
me.
sticks.
What?
This will
up
be.
sticks?
This is more elementary based. Let's see if we can pick this
Got us,
one.
Lauren.
Banana split.
Oh, I used to know this
I
one.
don't know this one.
The rip.
Cherry Pit.
Cherry Pit.
I don't know. It rhymed.
Split.
I don't know.
I'm going to spit.
Rocket ship.
No idea.
Nope.
Banana
Time
split.
to
Split. Time to.
Banana split. Time to
Sit.
split.
That's cute.
Time to
I don't think I ever did
Oh,
that
time
one.
to sit.
Banana split. Time to
Oh.
sit.
Red Robin.
Yum.
Yum. Nice.
That was a good one. Let's see. What else do we have here? May the force.
Be
with
with you.
you.
That's one of them?
Amen.
Amen.
That is one of
Oh,
them.
I've
Very
never
funny.
used that one.
Let's see if you guys get this one. Hear ye, hear ye.
All hail the queen.
Amen.
Actually, yeah.
That is correct.
I can see you using that one.
I did.
Let's see. I mean, this is definitely an elementary one. Shark bait. There we go. What if I just go like this? Stop.
Drop and roll.
Hammer time.
Oh, stop, drop, and roll.
Stop.
It was
drop,
on
roll.
fire.
Stop. I think it's Fire Safety Week.
Safety week.
And I
Okay,
think
the bear.
I'll wrap this up and see if you guys get this. Mo money.
More
No
problems.
problems.
I don't know if that's
That
I'm
was
going to
a
use
pain.
that one at school.
I
My
was
kids
gonna say,
actually might like that one.
this is not my idea of call and responses I would use in the classroom.
I can't
like
say
mac
that
and
they
cheese,
would be.
everybody freeze, 1, 2, 3 eyes on me are the only ones on that list that I had ever
Here, let
heard
me
of before.
just hand this
I
list
throw-
over
okay,
here.
let's
Let's
see.
see.
More money,
Let's let you
more
guys
problems.
take a look through that bad boy.
Let me see. Wait, I want to see if I can quiz me on them. See if there's
Focus,
ones that you
focus,
think.
everybody focus.
Yeah.
That one I've
Focus
done.
Will, you
I
do
didn't
that.
we
know
used to
that
do
one.
Focus,
Halloween.
focus, everybody focus.
That's a good October one to use.
Be a good one.
Are there some that like?
Mona Lisa? No,
I've
never
never
heard
used
of
that
that.
Oh, chicken wing. That was a popular one.
yeah.
I mean,
Chicken
what
wing,
are some of the
chicken
yeah,
common
they did
ones
that
that you
one.
guys know?
See the
Sit down.
If you hear me
There's
clap
no
twice.
response. It's just all call.
yeah, like if you can hear me touch your nose, if you can hear me touch your shoulders, whatever.
Yeah.
I do that one.
Do a lot of Jimmy. What's wrong with you?
We
Sit down.
do a lot of like catch a bubble, and so I go catch a bubble, and they go, and they like eat the bubble.
That's my classroom.
See, they wouldn't do that. They would just go like catch a bubble, and that's all they
okay.
would do.
We've come up with some pretty organic ones in my class. I'll just yell at them, say, "What's wrong with you?" And then they usually respond by saying, "Mr. Dannenberg, stop yelling at us all the time."
In perfect unison.
It's fantastic.
The acting
They're
is so
so
good.
creative. They're so
They like
creative.
pretend to cry. It's hilarious.
They think I'm serious too.
These are like interesting. I've never heard of half of these. Anyway, but this was really fun. I love
fun.
talking
Great.
about something different other than just in the
Yeah.
classroom stuff, like talking
Yeah.
about PE and health. So interesting.
Go watch our videos of us embarrassing ourselves.
Definitely. watch it.
I'm pretty proud of myself. Pretty proud. I'm gonna hit the gym 8 times this week. More times than there are days.
2 on Sunday.
2 on Sunday.
Yeah. 2 a days. But thank you so much for watching, and make sure that you go and check out Megan on TikTok. And we will see you guys in the next video.
Yeah.
All right.
Peace
Bye,
out.
guys.
Go run the mile.